Hello everyone, Cannon here again. For this week's lesson, we're going to take a look at key signatures. Now, key signatures you'll usually see at the beginning of a piece right next to the clef and time signature. And just like the clef denotes the range and the time signature denotes the beat and meter, the key signature denotes the set of sharps and flats you'll be working with, the key. Now, one way to analyze and see how the different keys work together and relate to each other is with the circle of fifths. The circle of fifths is a device that lays all 12 major keys and their corresponding relative minors out in a pattern that looks basically like a clock. And it moves from C all the way through the other 11 keys by moving in a fifth interval. We will get to intervals soon, but that is how it moves through. So I'm going to show you me playing through the circle of fifths real fast, and then I'm going to go through and break down each individual key. Hope you dig it. Okay, time to break things down. We start at the top of the clock with our friendly neighborhood C chord. C major, and its relative minor, A minor. Not so friendly, that chord. Moving up a fifth, we go from C to G. Also, a good way to remember that fifth interval. Star Wars, Star Wars. Just that first one. Star Wars. Anyway, G major, and its relative minor, E minor. In this key, we have our first sharp and F sharp. Moving up a fifth from G, we get to D. So we have D major, and its relative minor, B minor. This key contains two sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Moving up another fifth, we go from D to A. So we have A and its relative minor, F sharp minor. This key contains three sharps, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Moving up another fifth from A, we get E. So we have E major, and its relative minor, C sharp minor. In this key we have four sharps, so now we have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. Moving up another fifth, we go from E to B. So we have B major and G sharp minor. This key has five sharps with F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. This is also the first key we've encountered which can be written enharmonically, in this case as C flat, which contains 7 flats and is not at all fun to read, much like its counterpart, C sharp, which contains 7 sharps. These are not keys that you'll normally encounter too much except in jazz and classical music. Moving up another fifth, we go from B to F sharp. So we have F sharp major and D sharp minor. This key has 6 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, and the somewhat uncommon, but yes, in this case theoretically correct, E sharp. This key can also be written enharmonically as G flat or E flat as the relative minor, which contains 6 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and C flat. That C flat being another note that you don't normally see, but in this case is, yes, correct. Moving up a fifth from F sharp or G flat takes us to C sharp or D flat. So we have a choice between writing it as 7 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, and B sharp, or as 5 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. And also have the choice between calling this C sharp major or D flat major. And then its relative minor, B flat minor. Moving a fifth up from D flat, we get to A flat, which contains 4 flats: B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. We're going backwards now and reducing instead of increasing accidentals like we were before. So that gives us A flat major and F minor. Up a fifth from A flat, and we get E flat, which contains 3 flats: B flat, E flat, and A flat. So we have E flat major and C minor. Up a fifth from E flat takes us to B flat with 2 flats: B flat and E flat. So we have B flat major and G minor. Moving up from B flat, we find ourselves at F major, which contains 1 flat, B flat. So we have F major and D minor, which is, of course, the saddest of all keys. And then another fifth takes us from F back to home base, C. So again, we have C major and A minor. Well then, that about wraps it up for key signatures. I hope I was able to show you how they relate to each other and how you can use the circle of fifths to visualize how they relate to each other. Using this mechanism, which is so fundamental to the way our keys work, you can move through all 12 major keys in relative minors, like I did in my demonstration, and it sounds flowing and like it makes sense, like it isn't just a random jumble of key changes. You can use this mechanism for key changes in your own music and writing, and I really encourage it. It's a very fun way to introduce some new ideas. As always, I hope you have fun, and thanks again.